Welcome to another edition of the Real Estate TV, and this is your host, your mentor, Trace Trajano. Today, I'm going to talk to you about in the management channel, how do you find the right title company, okay, that will work on your deal. So first, if you have not done any deal at all, haven't bought a house at all, what does a title company do? Title company checks the title, okay. They facilitate the transaction by preparing the documents. All right, the deed, the title, that's why it's called title company. And then they also disperse the funds at closing, okay? It's highly advisable, okay? In fact, I require you, if you're here in the U.S., that you don't give a seller, let's say you're dealing with a motivated seller, don't give a seller earnest money, okay? Course it to a title company, okay? Because that's one of the things that they do is they disperse the funds, okay, and they hold documents and money in escrow too. So it's a third party that is independent. It's not a seller. It's not a buyer, okay, and it's a very nice system here in the U.S. to have a title company that does all that work. Of course, they get paid, okay, for every services that they do, okay. And in the Philippines, unfortunately, there's no concept yet of a title company. So most of the jobs that are being done by a title company are being done by the real estate agent or and the lawyer involved in the transaction. All right. So, okay, choosing the right title company is very, very key, because if you have a bad title company, some title companies don't do double closing, okay? If you're a wholesaler, double closing will be your key to success, okay? And then I have title companies that I've worked with before. I don't work with them anymore, in which, you know, let's say out of a 30-day closing, they got all the documents in the, you know, like on the first, and somehow, or on the 29th day, just before the closing, they call me and say, hey, Trace, bad news, we have some issues. It's like, you know, all along, I thought things are going well. How come you only told me that now? Okay, I cannot tell you how many times I said those actual words, okay, to a lot of title companies, which today I don't use them anymore, okay, because they are very reactive. They only call you when there's a problem. You have to call them to find out what's going on, even worse, okay? And then because of that, they miss deadlines all the time, okay? So you want to choose a title company that is investor-friendly, knows how to do double closing, knows how to do assignment of contracts, okay? Because you can still assign contracts when you're dealing with an individual seller, okay, and a cash buyer, but you can no longer do this when you're dealing with a seller, which is usually a bank, and a buyer, which sometimes need a bank loan. Okay, you cannot do assignment of contracts. All right. So, but a good title company knows, you know, the real deal about double closing and assignment of contracts. And believe me, both are still legal even in today's environment. Okay, and they are very proactive. They tell you, you know, several days, okay, or weeks before the closing what problems you're going to encounter, and because of that, they don't miss their deadlines, okay? You want to choose the right title company, because otherwise your deals could be screwed up at the last minute. So how do you find a good title company? You check with other real estate investors. You ask them a very simple question. Which title company have you used in your double closing? Okay? Or which title company do you use, period, okay? And the other thing that you need to do as part of your due diligence is you check for complaints to the Better Business Bureau. If you don't find any, and they're highly recommended by not just one, but by multiple real estate investors, you got it. You got the right title company to work with. All right? So next week, I'm going to talk to you about how do you deal with buyers, okay, so that you don't lose the deals, okay? So it's very, very crucial that you know how to negotiate with them. So until then, this is your mentor, Trace Trajano.